Contract signed for new Demerara Harbor Bridge. 2 charged with murder of ex-convict. Spanish oil company drills another offshore well. And failed promises on the sugar industry. I am Enrico Pulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The government signed a U.S. $260 million contract for the construction of a new Demerara Harbor Bridge with China Railway Construction Company Limited. Works are expected to start immediately with an expected completion date of 2024. The contract was awarded based on a design-build-finance model, meaning that the company will finance the construction and own the bridge for at least 20 years, during which time the Chinese company that will be managing the bridge will also set the cost of the toll. Let's just hope the government agreed to a fair toll structure, otherwise commuting is going to get a lot more expensive for folks on the west side. Over the past 2 months, inspectors of the National Bureau of Standards have seized hundreds of boxes of unregulated cigarettes, matches, and unapproved dial scales from stores throughout regions 2, 4, 5, and 6. According to the Bureau, these cigarettes were improperly labeled for sale in Ghana. The matches were of low quality, and the dial scales are banned for retail use as it is less accurate than those old red scales with the weights. See, sometimes the old folks are right about certain things. On the topic of seized items, the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department has announced the immediate recall of the locally made frozen JR chicken burger patties due to contamination with listeria and salmonella. To date, there are no reports of illnesses associated with the consumption of the product, but based on the circumstances surrounding the investigation, all batches of the product, including the JR beef burger patties, are subject to the recall. Thus far, they've seized all batches in supermarkets across the country. So if you have it in your freezer, and you bought it recently, you might want to throw it out. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2017 Toyota Rumi. It comes with Bluetooth, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $3.15 million, or pay as low as $630,000 down with around $60,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them you can send you for this sweet deal. Yesterday, 21-year-old Derek Sugram and 20-year-old Radesh Thalman were jointly charged with the murder of 22-year-old Akash Peshia. The two were not required to plead to the charge, which alleged that about a week ago, the two, along with a third person, choked Peshia to death with a cutlass in number 55 village quarantine Babis. The two suspects were remanded to prison until September 2nd, 2022. 73-year-old pensioner Herman Barrett drowned in the Isla Penitence Canal on Monday afternoon. According to reports, Barrett was heading to fix a pipe which was located at the edge of the canal near his home. Unfortunately, along the way, he had fell over and ended up underwater. He was not saved in time. After spending over 5 years on remand, this afternoon, 28-year-old Philip Suffren pleaded not guilty to the murders of 89-year-old Constance Fraser and 77-year-old Phyllis Caesar. His trial is scheduled to commence on June 1st before a 12-member jury. According to reports, he is accused of having bound and gagged the women in their house on South Road before ransacking the home for valuables during the course of an alleged robbery. The cops accuse him, or an accomplice, of having beat the women over the head and strangling them to death. No other persons have been charged in connection with the crime thus far. In a somewhat ominous statement that reeks of authoritarianism, Gail Teixeira says the president is not required to give reasons to justify his choices for the filling of constitutional posts. Her comment comes several days after the first meeting between the president and the opposition leader to commence the process of agreeing on the appointments to the constitutional commissions. During the meeting, Norton asked for the CVs of the candidates, to which Teixeira said they would soon provide. So the president will offer the CVs, but he won't defend his choices. That makes no sense. In a democracy, every public servant must be held accountable to the people for their actions. For the best crotch in Guyana, wait, that should read, for all sizes of clutch disc and pressure plates for heavy-duty trucks in Guyana, check out Powered Automotive. Get this and other high-quality truck parts at the lowest prices. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Now for today's oil update. Spanish oil company Repsol has moved to explore its second well in the Canacu block offshore Guyana. Exploration drilling on the B Bay 1 well site will last from May 1st to July 15th, 2022. The well site is situated approximately 72 nautical miles from the coast of Guyana and covers an area of 0.29 square nautical miles. In September of 2019, Repsol had started drilling its first well, the Karapa 1, in the Kanaku block. While they did strike oil that time, it was not in commercial quantities. Repsol is the operator of the block with a 37.5% stake. Tullow Oil also holds an equal 37.5% stake, while Total has the remaining 25%. However, when it comes to Tullow, Karapa was its third oil find offshore Guyana. It might not be robbery season, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, K-9 services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? When politicians make unrealistic promises. The PPP had campaigned on a promise to reopen the sugar estates. A noble endeavor. But months later, they told the nation that billions of taxpayer dollars will save Gaisuco. Then, a year later, they asked for millions more. Then, they gave thousands of former sugar workers in Burpees a handout, only to quietly sell off the Enmore sugar estate months later. It was only then they finally admitted that it would take years and much diversification to bring back the sugar industry. But the only thing new about the industry thus far is the packaging for the sugar, and the existing equipment is now in even worse shape than their profits. And the only thing worse than the profits are the pockets of the sugar workers themselves. Instead of revitalizing the industry, it looks like it's on the verge of collapse. Highflot Sugar Estate is in such a terrible shape that the grinding operations came to a halt weeks ago due to a broken gear in one machine. A machine so old that the model doesn't even exist anymore, so they had to actually scour the earth in search of a compatible part for this one machine. I know, crazy stuff, right? But this search was clearly unsuccessful, because Jagdio is now offering the currently idle workers at the estate training in other fields of work, including construction. Now, call me cynical, but I believe this is him secretly admitting that the Iflet factory may soon find itself on the chopping block. Why do I think this? Well, if the machine is going to be operational again soon, then what's the point of recommending that they seek training in other fields? Wouldn't that cause a major labor shortage if many of the workers leave at once? No, not if you have no intentions of returning to previous production levels. It won't cause one. So, that's why I believe that by pushing these men into other fields, now it would just cushion the blow when the government finally closes down the estate. Which, remember, is the same thing they did with Enmore. Now, I could go on, but what I'm trying to say is the government needs to stop using the sugar industry as a political tool and make the hard decisions now before we're forced to sink billions more into a failing industry. Because letting things remain exactly as they are is pretty stupid. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Last night's question was, what can be done to reduce police and citizen altercations in Guyana? RC View Farms says there are situations where persons will disrespect the police and even hit them. The police have a right and responsibility to protect themselves and those around them. The police officers should learn that not every altercation needs to end in a beatdown of the citizens. The officer's job is to protect and serve, even when citizens are drunk and disrespectful. They need to use more conflict resolution techniques and not get entangled in the drama. Apprehend and arrest. Do not abuse the position entrusted to the police by the citizens. Now, I know I joked about it before, but honestly, they've really got to train these officers to de-escalate conflicts and also train them in martial arts. So, when they do have to detain a suspect, it can be done quickly and with the least pain for everyone involved. While I believe officers shouldn't abuse their powers, the public should also understand that hitting a cop is not acceptable and will get you arrested. In fact, in the United States or in some states, you actually get 7 years for assaulting a cop. So, think about that. Books and Spice says, the only way you can get police to respect people is through proper education and training and understanding the communities they serve. There should also be real consequences to misconduct. Does Guyana have something like internal affairs that deals with misconduct? Yes, they do, and they fail miserably at it. CNC MOH says, The police are trained to make arrests and charge the suspects with each violation, not to take the law personally and start punching. This cop does not deserve to serve the state. You are absolutely correct. The police officers should never take the law personally. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way to measure money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. They are about to start construction on the new Demerara Harbor Bridge. I want to know how you feel about it. Good, bad, or indifferent. I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.